All right, here we go. All right, so here with us, we've got Michael Lewis and Eric Kittelberger. Let's see. All right, Eric. Eric is an award-winning creative with nearly 37 years of advertising and design experience. He received his BFA in graphic design from Kent State University in 1989. After graduation, Eric worked for an advertising agency in Akron, Ohio for 5 years. In 1995, he started the Triple Play Design Company. Over the years, Eric has worked on projects for companies like Guinness and Bass Ale, Swedish Fish, Sour Patch Candies, American Heart Association, the National Park Service, Event Flow, Avery Labels, Bubblicious, Banana Boat, Autism Speaks, Ocean Spray, and TDK, to name a few. Michael Lewis, the Lark, is an educator, librarian, and artist working in Southern Maine. He received his undergraduate degree in illustration from Syracuse University in 2003, and later his MFA from Maine College of Arts and Design in 2012. Over the past 20 years, he has created a number of illustrations for punk bands, coloring books, and gig posters. His artwork has appeared in group and solo shows across the country. He has created a daily drawing in his sketchbook since 2016. This year, the theme is 1985 Topps cards. He is a Mets fan, and so please be nice. And again, our card cutter, Tim, is not with us today. All right, so what we're going to do, our format here is we're going to have we have Mike here, and we're going to talk about some of his pieces here. So let's get going here. Mike, so tell us about this particular piece. Tell me about, what your inspiration was and your process, and, what you were thinking about this.
Uh, well, a fellow reached out to me looking to do a commission with me. I had been doing a bunch of different pencil drawings of Gaudi cards, as well as the 85s. Last year I did 79, so people keep seeing the card pieces up. And the fellow was kind of torn between whether he wanted to do maybe a rookie card of Tony Gwynn, Cal Ripken kind of era, or if he wanted to go back to Gaudi and get a Lou Gehrig and get a Babe Ruth. And he says, well, I mean, I can actually probably afford to get the Tony Gwynn rookie card, but I'm probably never going to be able to afford to get a Babe Ruth card. So we talked it out a little bit, and there's the two cards with Babe Ruth, and we determined that this one, we liked the colors a little bit better. I liked what I could do with kind of that like sort of rusty bit in the background. I always do like this loopy drawing that's like I'll put up the like the slide and kind of draw over top of it a little bit, but I try to go really loopy. So I just use it sort of as a guide to find where the proportions will be, so I don't give Babe too many double chins, that kind of thing. But yeah, I was really trying to keep this one really loopy and kind of, I don't know. When I think of Babe Ruth, I really think of the Sandlot and the Legends Never Die kind of thing, and like I just wanted to feel kind of that like sort of I wanted to have that kind of atmosphere. So I was really more focused on atmosphere than I was the detail of him. I mean, really you look at him and like he doesn't really have much detail in his face. There's this kind of, you can build your own narrative about him, which I think much like Elvis, the Babe is like this character that lives way more. He lives in infamy in our heads, but like he was a person in real life. So like it's that weird dichotomy. So I was really focused on that as I was trying to paint this one.
Right, right, absolutely. And I was looking at his face, and his face is just so iconic. And I always think about that Charles Conlon photograph as well. When you just see the Babe, you sort of think about that particular image, and I think you've captured that here so well. Okay, so let's move on. Hank Aaron. So let's talk about this. What was your process here? And
So
go
this
ahead.
piece was kind of a funny piece because I was I was reaching out to a couple friends, and I wanted to do something where I kind of painted while I chatted with somebody about a player that they collected a bunch of. And so I reached out to Jason Schwartz in Chicago, Heavy J on all the card collecting and social media things. And he's a huge Hank Aaron guy. And we started talking about how Aaron played with the Clowns, but he had obviously wouldn't have had a card with the Clowns because they weren't creating Negro League cards. And so we started thinking about this is it 51 or 52 design. So like where he would have been at that time. And so I tried to take an image from another card and kind of insert it into this sort of design from that year. And then yeah, this one was actually kind of difficult because I was talking the entire time I was painting. So there's, now that I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where I got a little too chatty Cathy here and there in it. But I also was the process of it was really interesting to me, and having that conversation about, what Aaron would have been doing at this time, and I don't know that was how much record do we have of him with the Clowns, that kind of thing. So this one was
Mhm.
more kind of an experimental piece for me a little bit, not so much in like the image itself, but like the actual chatting while painting is kind of difficult. I don't
Right,
know.
right, right. Cool. All right. And this Jerry Kuzman and Nolan Ryan rookie.
Yes. Oh man, this one's awesome. I love this card, and it's one of those cards that you're just like, yeah, I'm never gonna get that one. But the fellow reached out to me with this to commission this card, and actually he's since TTM'd to both Kuzman and Ryan, and they both signed it. So it's a
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's signed by Kuzman and Ryan, and I think that is probably the most stellar thing about it. I really like the portraits of both players is great. I mean, I'm a Mets guy, so like I've stared at this card for a long time, and done the what ifs if Ryan had stayed with the Mets, that kind of thing. Um,
Hmm.
I'm seeing pop up. This one was 5 by 7 inches, so um, the card's just a little bit smaller than 5 by 7. I always try to give it those borders.
Right.
Um, and then yeah, just light pencil with the watercolor over top. Really just like roughing out the shapes of the characters. So, um,
Right.
but the texture in the border of this one was probably I was really pleased with how that came out. That made me really happy. So
Yeah, it's a cool card. And you just mentioned about the sizes, and I think that's a really good point. You create your pieces in different sizes. Can you talk about that a little bit in terms of is how difficult that is, and where what you were thinking about the different sizes and so forth?
well, a lot of people like the 2.5 by 3 inch, 3.5 inch size. Like they want something that they can tuck into their card binders and just treat it like it's a regular card. Everything's on like a heavy printmaking paper, so it's not. I mean, it doesn't come in that same like sort of glossy feel as a card anyway. But so a lot of people like those dimensions. Some people like it if you can put it in a one touch, that kind of thing. So I do some of them at that size. A lot of them I do at this 5 by 7 size because it's kind of like this perfect in between of where I can get enough detail and let the watercolor kind of do its thing without being too anal retentive about trying to move colors where they don't want to go. Because I don't know, a lot of watercolor is just like letting it be a little bit, like you can't really guide it too much or it'll just look like mud constantly. So
Hmm.
um, at the 5 by 7, it's really nice. If I get to something that's a little bit bigger, I've done a few that are 8.5 by 11, and then I've done a couple that are uh, bigger than that. I did one of Miguel Cabrera and Maglio Ordonez and Ivan Rodriguez. That was like what was it, 20 by 24. I did one of the George Brett rookie cards. It was also a 20 by 24. It's really, I think, in painting them, if I do a bigger one, then I end up standing up and I end up being much more gestural. I think when I do a bigger painting, I probably like the product a little bit better, but it seems a little bit tighter if I go a little bit smaller, which
Hmm.
I don't know. It's interesting to see the ones that people like versus the ones that they're not as big a fan of, and then think about the ones that I like versus the ones I'm not as big a fan of. You can really kind of see where our differences come from what we're interested in. Like I think I'm more interested in painting sometimes than I am actually in just like replicating a card. And I think some people really like it when it really replicates the card. So I don't know.
Is there a particular card that you would like to do in the future that you haven't done yet, or cards?
Oh man. Um, I want to do a large one, like a big one that I can get really nice and gestural on, of that 72 Clemente. Just
Hmm.
I want to like I want to be able to be gestural. Like I don't know. I mean, we're gonna talk about him later, but like I get like really kind of weirdly emotional when I'm trying to paint Clemente because I don't know. I just think that's like such a sad story of um, like to do good and then just be like cut down. Like that's just a bummer. And he's
Right.
like such a huge, like awesome character to me. But also like I don't know, I really love the McCutcheon rookie where his dreads are flying all over the place. I did a
Hmm.
little one of those. I kind of want to do a bigger one of those. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of them that I really like. I really kind of next year I think I'm doing the racing stripe 82s, like
Oh
and
yeah.
pretty much all of those I think are just awesome. Ozzie Smith for days and days. I'll do that until the cows come home, you know?
Yeah. Those are super cool colors. We were talking about that earlier. I like the kind of, like you said, the racing stripes there as well. Um, I'm going to back up here a bit, Mike, and just ask you, how did you get started in this baseball card art?
How did I get started in the baseball card art? So, I mean, I've been painting for a long time and quite frankly, I mean, I had done all kinds of things and not baseball cards. Like just like I had been kind of loosely trying to attach myself to like this I don't know, the avant-garde like weird like hot rod sort of style of art for like 10-15 years, lots of robots for a little while, and then I don't know, it's about I mean it was like right before we hit COVID and Twitter was really big. And like there were just a couple of guys that were doing some paintings and I saw the project 2020s come out and stuff like that. And then there was actually a, a birthing society, like a midwife society that my ex-wife and I had used when we were pregnant with our son, and they were trying to do a fundraiser, and I ended up doing a bunch of paintings of baseball players to try to raffle off, and I got a couple of guys that like donated stuff, and we raised like almost $1,000 for this birthing center, and that was probably really when I first was like, hey, this is kind of fun. I can look at baseball players and baseball cards that I've been wanting to look at and also do the painting that I've been wanting to do. And I don't have to like try to think of like some underlying meaning that I'm trying to communicate to somebody or be overly cerebral or whatever. I can just do the painting and let the cerebral nature of it just be whatever sort of shows and how the paint came out, because it's
Hmm.
there. And I don't need to try to beat the dead horse.
Right, exactly. Did you have any particular influences if you looked at other artists or baseball artists and things like that?
Let's see. Baseball artists. I mean, I love El Santos. If you know his work, Sergio
Hmm. Hmm.
Santos. I love his, how productive he is, but like also just like how much he's working over top of his stuff. He's laying out the painting and then just scrapping it and coming back, and you know, he's painting. It's just like it's a painting. And it's, you know, it could be a Jasper Johns if it was, you know, not a baseball card. But then again, you're like, I could almost see Jasper Johns doing this, you know, pop, uh, abstract expressionist guys, you know, like it just has that same sort of feel. So I really liked his
Right.
stuff. I really like, I liked some of the project 2020 guys. Like I liked Blake Jameson's work. I thought was cool. But I like didn't think, like I didn't love it, but I loved it. But you know, and then that's like the cool thing about art of any kind. Like you're just like you're looking at it, I'm like, this is pretty cool, but I would do it like this, or I would do it a little bit different. And
Yeah.
so I forget who that fella is that's on your wall that has all the like Dia de los Muertos mask, but I love that stuff. What was his name? I forget it.
His name is his name is oh my gosh, he's a friend of mine. I'm blanking on his name. I feel so
I'm so
bad, but
sorry. I put you on the spot too.
but he's a super great guy. And the
I
thing
think
is,
he's in the
he's
chat.
no, he's not. He let me look. He is he is but he wasn't the guy who did these works. Actually, he wasn't a baseball artist at all, but he did specialize in Chicano pop arts, and I wrote about this in Turnstile in one of the issues there. And he just did this because he was paying homage to his parents, and so it was just kind of a lark that he did these particular works, and just a super cool guy. And I didn't find this out until later that he was a friend of my dad's. And then I asked him to do a couple of the works. If he's looked behind me, and I don't mean this to be about me here at all, but there's a Louis Tiant and there's a Hideki Matsui. Those are both originals, and so he did those for a presentation I did in New York City, and so forth. So that was just a good style that really spoke to me, as a Chicano historian and so forth. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, but I don't know. I love a lot of folks' work.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, yeah,
But,
yeah, there you go. Joaquin Alejandro Newman. Sorry, that's his name. Thank you,
but yeah,
Michael.
that stuff's great. But I mean, I really liked what Heavy J was doing. You had like just a bunch of glitter to anything, and you get the ADHD kid in me like super stoked about life. Like I don't know, it doesn't take a lot. And then oh, I can't remember dude's name, and that makes me really sad. But he
It
did
happens.
he did a piece of Ozzie Smith, and it was so good. He was doing the backflip in the piece.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
what was his name? What is his name? I'm even on his mailing list, and I can't remember it. I
I
thought
know.
of it
It's just
earlier in the program, and I can't think of it now.
yeah.
Uh, Maybe I'll get back to you. But I also did, like I was super influenced by like a bunch of comic books and stuff when I was a kid, and like
Right, right.
a lot of like I really love like I love like looking at like Winslow Homer and abstract expressionist painters, and like a lot of like what I geek out about is like the backgrounds and stuff, or like adding colors that don't really belong there into like the portraits and whatnot. So I don't know how much people are paying attention to that, but that's the stuff that I'm really geeking out on. So
Right on. Okay, so let us move on here to Eric. Eric, hi, how are you?
Hey, great to be here.
Well, I appreciate you being here. So, let's see. So before we get into your arts, let's talk about how did you get started, with baseball card art? You've got a, really impressive resume as well, but what really drew you, as it were, to this area?
I've been drawing little baseball cartoons since I was, you know, since I can remember, little kid. And fast forward to the professional side of things, I would, I really only had time to maybe do one baseball piece a year because I was so busy with all the client work. And so when I'd be able to fit it in, it ultimately would become a Christmas card for my business every year. So, maybe there was 10 or 12 or 15 of those going up. And then, as you go along, you get old, you start to lose clients. Some pass away, some retire, some take the work in-house or just eliminate it altogether. So I found myself with some more time. And once my kids went to school, college, and now out of the house, I found myself with even more time. So I decided to, I guess, build the second half of my career. I did a bunch of Indians Hall of Famers in a certain style. I did some other work with some Hall of Famers in another style, using Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, stuff like that. I'd given up traditional media probably in the mid 90s. I was using pastels and mineral spirits, and my whole house would just reek of stuff. So I gave that up and just went totally digital, which a lot cleaner. And you can get stuff done a lot quicker. But when COVID hit, I was dabbling in the baseball stuff, and every Instagram baseball artist was contacted by Tad Richardson. And this is like the 5-year anniversary of this event. He wanted to do a 100-year anniversary of the Negro Leagues. So I get this weird DM from him. Hey, love your work. I want to do this thing about the Negro Leagues. Are you interested? And I looked at my wife. I thought, what the heck? I'm not doing anything else. So I'll try this. So it we ended up, there was 100 artists that participated, and we ended up making like $30,000 or $35,000 in our little 1-week show / sale. And we donated it to the Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City.
Wow.
So around that time, I got my first iPad, started dabbling in Procreate, and wasn't very good. Was watching videos on it. It just was over my head. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to start doing every day. I'm just going to start drawing baseball players, find a historical event to commemorate, and just do it every day. And it's been about 4.5 years since I've started. March 3rd, I think, is my anniversary date. So March 3rd, 2026 will be my 5-year anniversary of doing that every day. And I post it, and you can watch my progression if you go back. It's all on Instagram. I started out really simple. I'd give myself, okay, 5 minutes, 3 colors, and knock this out. And they were quick and gestural, and it was fun. And then it's just progressed as I've learned the software, learned what it can do. I still think I'm kind of in the toddler phase of learning the software. I just every day I try to use different brushes, different techniques, I'll start a traditional direction, and then the next day I'll start backwards on a piece. And it just the more you do, the more you learn, and it's a progression. Like I said, I'm still in my infancy of doing it, and hopefully at the 10-year anniversary I'll be even better. But yeah, that's kind of how that's all progressed to now.
Right. Did you have particular influences, as I asked Mike, either baseball art or artists in general?
Yeah, probably if you want to go way back, I like Degas. I like Gustav Klimt. mid to late 80s when I was in college. Everybody wanted to be Brad Holland. Love Mark English, Gary Kelly, Bernie Fuchs, Bart Forbes, Alan Kober, Robert Heindel, guys like that. I mean, the list is endless. And today, Greg Kreinler is like the pinnacle of baseball art. I mean, I'm not worthy to carry his water pail. I mean, he's just like he's it. On the design side, like Jason Drumheller, I love his design work. He's one of my favorite designer, sports designer. Ken Carl is killing it right now. His stuff is just dynamite. I see Daniel Horine from Pop Fly. He's killing it. Nate Schweitzer is one of my favorite illustrators today. I like Harrison Freeman. But I mean, the list goes on, and there's so many great artists. It's like I'm inspired and discouraged all at the same time. It's like, why am I doing what I'm doing when there's all these great artists out here? I just, ultimately, I just try to compete with myself. I try to get better every day, and
Right.
I just try to have fun. And
Well,
something's driving me. I don't know what it is, but it's fun. I'm having a blast. I'm
that's
having more fun now than I ever did. So,
oh, that's great. Well, and then you're almost 5 years into it. So let's talk about this Bob Gibson Sporting News cards. Let's tell me about your thought process, and you saw the card and what inspired you to create this piece.
um, initially, this was one of my daily posts. Right, I needed to find a Bob Gibson inspiration. And the daily posts really, it all depends on the time I have, my attitude at the time, how tired I am, what time of day it is, and my general mindset as to what the real inspiration I get for each card. And I love vintage cards. I just they're just so much cooler than today's cards. Although, I appreciate the work and the design and all that goes into today's cards, but I mean sometimes I just think they're overdone. I like the clean and classic, simple, flat colors. It just the old cards are just so much cooler. But I mean that's kind of where I was going with this. It was probably something happened in '69. I'm guessing. I can't remember when I actually did this piece, but you go along with the '69 card. You put you find a different image of Bob sometimes, like or whatever I'm working on. I'll take the basic card and to make it different, sometimes I'll find a different image that will go in there, and then still give the same feel for that card.
Gotcha.
But Bob Gibson's one of my favorite players.
Awesome.
So love to do images of Bob.
Okay. Let's see. So let's move on to Frank Robinson.
Again, Frank, kind of a unsung hero, right? I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time. And I just don't think he always gets all the notoriety that some of his equals get. Dude's MVP in both leagues. He's won World Series. He just a great player. Again, this was probably something that he did in 1970. And again, tried to do some different styles, different pens, different colors. But yeah, it was a daily post for Frank Robinson.
You did a really good job, or great job at capturing this stoic strength. I'm looking at this, it goes back to, how art resonates with you and what you take away from this. And so I take away this quiet strength and a
Well,
guy
yeah.
that looks like he's carrying a lot of burden.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was Frank, right? He when he got to be manager for the Indians, he mentioned Jackie. He just wished Jackie was around to see it happen because
Mm,
Jackie wanted that to happen. And
for sure.
yeah, definitely Frank, big guy, big strong guy, just very thoughtful guy. Um, one of the greats, really. I'm a big fan.
Awesome. Let's see. All right. So, Ivan Rodriguez.
Yeah,
I
so
got
this was a fairly recent piece in a style that I don't know, probably started 6, 7, 8 years ago. I call it Eric Carle on steroids. If you're familiar with the Very Hungry Caterpillar children's
hmm
books and that, so yeah, I build the shapes out and then I just start layering the shapes and layering. I'll take photos of different things in the wild, you know, roughed up paint, old buildings, old wood, and I'll take other paintings, whatever, and I'll just start layering them and building the layers and trying to get the shapes to work. So that's where you see a lot of texture in
hmm
there and a lot of different things. So yeah, it's built with uh, a lot of different basically Photoshop images within Illustrator.
Right.
Um, and because I don't know, my brain works better with Adobe Illustrator than Adobe Photoshop. So I've never been able to really grasp the inner workings of Photoshop, but I can do things in Illustrator that might be better suited for Photoshop, but just not for my brain.
hmm
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
Ivan, one of the great catchers. Johnny Bench is one of my favorite guys, and he's right up there with him. So
absolutely. You talked about layering. I'm looking at the layers. I'm just thinking, wow, this is just amazing how, you're able to, create this symphony of color and of images.
yeah, sometimes a piece like this will go really fast, and the layers will work right, and other times it's just hours of laboring to get the right colors and the right shapes to fit together and work together. So sometimes they go fast, sometimes they go take a long time.
hmm
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. So let's move on to our unscripted piece. So Tim Curl isn't here with us, but let's talk about his work. So uh, I was telling you guys earlier that I'm just such a big fan of this mosaic. I'm not a big fan of puzzles, so I can only imagine how long it would have taken him to put this piece together. What do you guys think about this piece?
Well, I think that it's interesting coming to this piece right after we look at Eric's piece with all that depth and all of the different layers you can very well see through. This one and that Frank Robinson piece kind of work on that same level for me where, some of the colors from the cards that he's pulling out, because these are all cut
hmm
up cards, they're not the color that he's trying to recreate, but by layering them over top and showing just a little bit. He's giving us a little bit of push and pull and really fabricating some colors that probably aren't there. If you got really close to this piece, I'm sure it would look very different. You step away from it, and you end up really it all optically blends for you. I'm trying to think of who was the painter. He was in the car crash and he hurt himself and he did the portraits. He did he had like really tiny photographs of himself they lay it all out, and then you'd step away from it, and it made one gigantic
Oh,
photograph. Do you know
right.
that fella, Eric? I can't think of his name.
You know what? I know. Um,
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Somebody
Chuck
said Chuck
Close.
Close in the
Yeah.
okay.
comments. Yes, Chuck
Yeah.
Close. This is like his work always kind of reminds me of Chuck Close, and yeah, it's just that texture and that it like has this like sweet rhythm because you can just barely see some of the text making these textures that kind of make you ripple across the image.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
these it's like when you're doing an illustration for a magazine, you do it 2 times up. So when you shrink it down, it looks better, right? This thing's built to view at a distance because then it looks like the real card. And then as you get closer, you see all the different textures and all the typography from the backs of the cards
Mhm.
that he's got built in. But it looks almost like the real card when you're looking at it here on my phone screen. But it's really cool. And I DM'd him not too long ago asking him, or I saw a post about how long would take him to do these pieces, and that was one of the things I wanted to ask him today. But yeah, just takes him a long time to do these. It's just definitely a labor of love, and the dude's got patience to uh, to
For
deal
sure.
with these. Yeah, no doubt. But I
Okay.
bet it's fun. I bet he has a blast doing it.
Let's move on to old Honus Wagner here. Same thing. What do you guys see?
It's just in this one, I really, I mean, it's sort of the same thing, but the what does it for me is that yellow background. That's really he's creating that yellow by those big areas of text that he's laying out. What is that? That's got to be like a Donruss card, I think, right? Isn't that
Mm.
the back of
It
Donruss?
looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just that optic mix is just so great, and the difference between what's going on in the background where we get the bigger, heavier chunks, and then we get to his face and it like gets like kind of tinier, like so yeah, I love this. And you know, to what Eric was saying with how long these pieces take, it's so interesting for me to look at this, which is like he's very clearly sculpting, right? Like a collage is kind of you're sculpting, you're building it up, you're like kind of building this thing out. And then I think about how I do my process, and like the piece itself, you know, it may take me 45 minutes to do my painting, right? But I'll be sitting there and I'll like try a couple things, I'll do a couple things, maybe I do the painting 4 or 5 times until I get to the point where I like it. But like the actual piece is like really quick because it's watercolor, you know, you're going quick, but you know, you're trying to think it out ahead of
Hmm.
time. So the processes are really different, right? So like we got the building process over here, and then like mine feels like this like kind of cerebral thing to go and be really quick. So I like the difference in that. I like this building process.
Yeah, I love the texture. I love textures, and you'll see a lot of textures in my work. Um, but uh, I guess I work a little different, and like it's one of the reasons I gave up traditional media because I like to just experiment on what I'm doing. Command Z is a tremendous tool because I screw up all the time. Uh, and if I'm doing watercolors and it's like the brush goes the wrong way and you get black into your orange and you didn't want that, it's like, oh, I got to start over, right? Well, and I just said, oh, no, I can't do this anymore. So, but no, I love the texture of this piece. It's amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Let us, oops, move on. Ted Williams. There's a lot going on here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. 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 I mean, a classic card, right? Just yeah, just one of the all-time great cards, I think. But again, love the texture. Love everything he's doing with that.
It's just
Um,
he's
yeah.
creating this cross hatching thing with that background and into the border. It
Hmm.
makes so much rhythm, and you're just like, Oh, and it's like this contrasting rhythm from that yellow and white border to like the face is like this very different sort of rhythm. We get this polyrhythmic thing going on. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude's very talented. He's
Absolutely.
hanging in the Hall of Fame, right? He's got some pieces. I think I saw in the Hall of Fame not too long ago.
Good.
Yeah,
Should
yeah,
be.
yeah. Amazing.
Okay, so let us move on to artists on Clemente. So Clemente, one of my favorite players. And what I did note in doing research on you all is you each have done a Clemente piece. So I want to just take some time to explore this space and get your thoughts on your pieces on Clemente. So Mike, you go first.
Oh man, I gotta go first. Oh, all right, all right. Um, so when I was commissioned to do this piece, actually, like not like I, the height of Clemente to me is that 72. I love the 72 so much, and then we get to this one, and I'm like, I had to like really kind of come around to it. My favorite part of this card design is literally the uh the player icons. Like the Luis
Hmm.
Aparicio is the best photo in the set, I feel like, which I had done prior. But I do love the like interaction between catcher and Clemente and uh and umpire in this one. Um he's very much like there's not a lot of detail that you see in the face when you look at this image, like the actual card. Like it is kind of this like sort of ghost shroud almost, it feels like, which is fitting. So I you know I but I was really interested in kind of this like bottom left to upper right sort of motion going from the folds in the catcher and up and through Clemente's arms and kind of peeking off with that point of the helmet. So I really tried to keep our like the yellow and into the black really kind of pointing as an arrow feels like, and like not murky that up with different color, and like kind of have a little bit of air to a little bit less air, a little bit less air, and sort of pointing off into that upper right, floating off into
Right.
the distance almost.
Gotcha. Eric, your piece.
Yeah, Clemente is probably my all-time favorite. I've done a lot of Clemente pieces. I've done the one that Tim did. I've done the 73 at different stages. Probably the most recent would have been my version of the what's the one on the left? I can't remember what year that is, but anyway, classic cards. I love that 73 Clemente. I mean, it's like the Aaron and the Rose that year. I don't know. I'm drawn to those three from the set. Um, Mine, the 59 there, Clemente. Again, trying to work with textures and uh, sometimes it's what you don't paint or what you don't draw into your images is more interesting than what you do draw into it. Uh, you see, sometimes I'll leave color out of some of the typography, or you'll see his ear is blue. It's just I just try to do little things like that. You'll see little things like that in my work, that I guess I'd say they're a little bit off kilter from what a normal, say, card might look like. But I like to do little things like that, little it's Easter egg type things. But
Hmm.
again, it's just working with textures and the shapes, trying to
Yeah,
get everything to work together.
yeah, for sure. Speaking of which, so looking at Tim's piece, there's just so many elements in this particular card as well. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, the detail in that, uh, the Hannes Wagner is pretty simple. It's got the yellow background and it's just a portrait of Hannes. This has got all that great advertising behind a
Mhm.
small Roberto leaping to catch the fly ball, along with his portrait and the little typography that he does in the upper left that he's got to deal with. So yeah, I mean, this is to get something like this to work is probably pretty tough.
And his autograph.
I would say
Yeah.
I know that I did an Ernie Banks from this set, and I did a block print of it, and I'm looking at the text that he pulled off in the upper left hand corner, and I'm just remembering how pained I felt doing my Ernie Banks print and trying to fiddle with that. So oh, kudos, Tim. Like, nicely done. Like, I cutting up cards is no easier than no easier or no harder, I think, than trying to do the linoleum. I think they're kind of on par.
Yeah, just one little glitch on the A, and you're done. You're getting
Doing
out
it right over
another
again.
block, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys know how big he does these pieces? These, I mean, they
Aren't
got
they?
to be
They're
massive,
huge,
right?
aren't they? They must be,
Yeah,
because the cards themselves are pretty.
yeah.
Oh, wait, I know the
Big.
answer to this. They are big. Shoot, he told me, and I forget, but I remember thinking, oh, that's huge. So maybe like 40 inches by 48 inches, something like that,
Okay,
if I recall correctly.
yeah,
It's just,
that's
just,
amazing.
just amazing to
Uh,
me.
I was, I wanted to ask him what he uses too. What kind of glue and how does he get it all to stick together?
Right.
Anybody know that? Is any?
I don't know, but it looks like matte medium style to me, or something like that. Probably
Okay,
maybe a Mod Podge.
yeah.
Hey, somebody else agrees with
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
that.
Uh,
Maybe it's Elmer's glue. I don't know.
okay, let's see. So Michael in the chat says he's got one by Ben Carher, and it's 20 by 28.
Okay,
All
so they're
right.
big. They're big.
Yeah, they're big. Okay, so this next section I just call artists on artists. So this is an opportunity for you, Mike, and you, Eric, to just talk amongst yourselves, just talk about, whatever it is you want to chat with, and we'll just be the fly on the wall for a few minutes.
can, can you go back, Anthony, to
Yeah.
that awesome Frank Robinson image for me, please? So this image, I'm looking at this, and like, all I can see, well, I mean, not all I can see, but like my art history brain is like looking at this like Toulouse-Lautrec painting that I saw ages ago with this like off color. And I just love this like cadmium yellow deep that's like digging on that top of that, on the bridge of the nose. And then that in contrast to like letting that blue background sit kind of behind the ear. I love some of the color choices that you're making, even to the point of like doing this like sort of aquamarine to teal kind of thing for the border instead of that, instead of the gray. Like
Right.
this, man, like I look at your colors and that bleeding outside of your lines. And I mean, you mentioned your list of influences. I'm like, oh yeah, I see that, I see that, I see that. Like this, yeah, I love this. This is one of my favorite pieces that I've seen in a while. So
Well, I appreciate that, man. But yeah, and honestly, I, like I said, I'm experimenting every day. Uh, if you ask me how the heck I did this, I don't know. I just it's experimenting, and I'm erasing out some marks and um, just kind of pushing over some of the marks and making them do different things. It's just trying different things every day. Just get a little incrementally better each
yeah,
day. But I love the Toulouse-Lautrec posters and stuff. So yeah, I guess I'm an amalgamation of all the stuff I've seen
I think we
all my
all are.
career, right? And I pull in from influences all over, and ultimately it becomes, I guess, my own. But yeah, I appreciate that. That's
You make me think of my dad used to always say, I think it was Keats, maybe it wasn't Keats. No, I think it was Robert Browning, pardon, who said they said he was having a talk and they said, well, we want to know where this poem came from. He said, well, at the time that I wrote it, only God and myself knew where it came from, and now I must say that only God knows. So
that exactly. And it's weird, something you mentioned earlier where you'll have people maybe comment on a piece of yours and maybe they'll like it a lot, and maybe it's one you didn't think was as cool as some of the other stuff, and some you like don't get much love. I feel the same way a lot of times. Some of the things that I'll think, well, I don't have a lot of time to do this, but I've got myself into this, daily thing, and I'll just throw it together, and I'll think it's a throwaway, and then I'll get comments on it. Oh, I really like this one, and I guess sometimes when you got a deadline, you got to get something done, and you just don't think about it, and you just do it. The better things happen during those times, as opposed to when you've got tons of time to think about it and you overwork it and you overthink it. And it's just, I'm sure you've had similar times like that where it's like, oh, this thing just turned into mud,
with
right?
the
So
dailies, I always post my dailies and I ask people to guess who they are, and some of them I'm like, nobody's gonna get this, or this one's trash, or like, I oh, my friend invites me to go for dinner or something, and I get back at like 11:30 and I gotta finish the daily before midnight kind of thing. So you're like, ah,
yeah, you know exactly where I'm talking about. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And you're like, oh, this is horrible. And then people are like, oh, this is great. I'm like, oh, okay, man.
Yep, yep. When I first was contacted to do this thing, I started trying to find you, and I couldn't find you anywhere. And finally, uh, what are you on, Blue Sky or something?
I'm on Blue Sky. I was on Twitter for ages and ages and ages, but I couldn't do the politics after a little bit, and
Yeah, Twitter's like the
failed
great
shift.
Satan. So yeah. So yeah, I didn't even know what Blue Sky was. I asked my daughter because she's in the know about these things. What's Blue Sky? Is it worth getting on or anything? She said, "Oh no, it's not." I don't know why she told me it's not, but anyway, I found your work. Loved it. I love the watercolor stuff. Just amazing. I love the just the feel, the looseness, and all that. So it's. I wish I could do that. I guess I wish I had the guts to stretch me some watercolor paper again and just get down and start doing some stuff like that. But
I think you could, but I mean, you're doing it anyway. Like, we're both doing daily stuff, and I think a lot. I don't know. I when I had my kids, I suddenly didn't care if I failed anymore, because what was the point anyway, right? Like not like there's no point to life, but just like, my daughter can walk in and try to jump in my lap while I'm doing this painting, and it will very likely be trash. Like
yeah,
let's just
but
not get super attached to anything, and it'll be fine.
yeah,
So
that's it's like it was Rick Rubin's quote, done is better than perfect. I mean, I'm just like I said, I'm competing with myself, and I don't care if today's post is that good. I mean, I'm going to be at it again tomorrow, right? Like
absolutely.
Ken Griffey Jr. said something like, you know, you got to it's going to be a bad day in baseball. Tomorrow's gonna, you're gonna do okay. So it's my son, um, when he was playing baseball, he had some anxiety issues, and so what he learned by his junior year is, he called it surrender the outcome. It doesn't matter what happens, right? It just go out there and bust your butt and do the best, and whatever happens, it happens, and don't worry about it. So that kind of eased his mind after that. And I guess I always tried to teach it, like, you got to care without caring, kind of thing. It's like, if you go in and you're tight, and it's like, it never works out. You got to just not care. And those are always the pieces that work out the best, you know?
Well, and I think kind of to piggyback that sort of mentality, you know, like, so like earlier this week, I did a painting just like super fast in my sketchbook with paint that was left over from my daughter, and like blue sky, went nuts on it. I'm like, what on earth is going on? Like, it was Satchel Paige, so I mean, it was Satchel Paige, and people love Satchel Paige.
Right.
Got so many, whatever, so much life and likes, and I'm like, I
Just
just
love,
think
lots
about
of
it, I'm
love.
like, but it wasn't about getting likes, and it didn't matter afterwards. It was about just living. Like, you're just living, and you're just, that it's such a privilege, honestly. Like, people are like, you're so talented, and I've always struggled with people telling me that I'm talented.
Yeah, I get that.
I went to art school for 6 years. You know, I've been working at it for a long. You've been working at it for a long time. We try to do stuff every day. Like, it's not all talent, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's hard work, definitely. You got to hone the
It's
craft.
hard work, but I've been thinking more of late, like, it's such a privilege to be able to start with this every day. You know, I have this stuff, I can do this. I want, you know, I have a space where I can do this. I can see all these images in my head, and I can try to do these things. I can remember these artists
Yeah,
that I've seen. And it's kind of like, it's just like trying to live in that moment for a little bit. And I love that. I love, just like, now that I've gotten, like, the kids really kind of helped a lot, because I was so uptight and I wanted to be the best ever when I was younger. And now I just want to live every day. So it's better to
yeah,
live with a brush in my hand than without.
That's
right.
amazing. All right, so let's turn to some audience questions. We've got a few in the chat box. Ramon is asking, what's your favorite car design, i.e. 86 tops and so forth?
You want to go first, Eric? Because I
Well,
need
I'll go first.
Jump in, jump in.
So, okay, I guess my all-time favorite, I love the 60 design, the Topps 1960 cards. I don't know why. I love the Clemente 1960 Topps. I love the photo, the big photo on the right, and then the little black and white photo on the left. And I love how the colors bounce around in the type. It, I'm also I also like 76, but it's really, I guess it's really not that good. I guess that was my first year that I really started collecting. I probably had some packs in 74, 75, but 76 it really blew up for me, and I love that. I love that set. Some of the photography is really quirky. I don't know. I love the Pete Rose. I like the big faces, the Chambliss. I love the Munson, and that. So those are kind of my two, I guess.
I,
Oh man, I have a bunch that I really love. I love the 72 like psychedelic tombstones so much. I just love those. Like, it feels like they feel like a Broadway poster or something to me. I just love that design. The photos aren't my favorite, but I like them. The Clemente is amazing, and I love the Doc Ellis a whole bunch. 1990 tops, I really like that. Like, oh, the colors are putrid, particularly in the traded. I love the traded putrid colors in the 1990 tops design. And that's really lovely. I really like the icon from what year tops is that, Anthony, of the Clemente that I did?
oh,
I can't
the
remember.
73?
Is that 73? Yes, it's 73. I really like that, like, little graphic element to those. I
Right,
love the
right.
racing stripes from 82. I guess, like, picking a design that I like the best is, like, I like the salad bar version of designs of baseball cards. Thanks. I want a little bit of everything.
Right,
So,
and you like something for a particular reason. So, for example, if you look at the image on the screen right now, I liked how you know, how that 82, the racing stripes, and how Topps managed the multiple photographs on that, for example.
Yeah, yeah. You know, anything pre 80 for me, I just and into the 60s and the 50s, I love those cards. So,
Right.
you know, while 60 is my favorite, there's a lot of those designs that are just I just love it. So
Okay.
it's like little art pieces, right? For me, little design
Absolutely.
and art pieces. That's one of the reasons I love cards. It kind of mashes up two of my favorite things.
Right.
So
Okay, so we've got another question. Why do you think baseball lends itself so readily to great artworks? Very cool question. Anyone?
uh, I think it goes back so far, you know, right to pretty much the Civil War. And it's just so nostalgic, and there's so many characters, and there's so many phases of colors that you can go through from the early 1900s to through the 60s and the 90s. And it's just like it just everybody likes something different, and everybody's inspired by something different. And you got so many great artists just doing it, and it's that's why I think it really lends itself to it. It's just nostalgically, um, it's an amazing game.
I think that when I taught illustration class, I always tried to talk about how you're just visually trying to tell a story, right? Like it's just a different, um, like a different literacy, right? So illustration's a different literacy. And if you're talking about telling stories, I mean, like, what better stories than can you come up like, I don't know, there's so many good stories. We don't know, like, how little do we know about 19th century baseball? That all seems like a mystery to me. You know, 1919 is like so good they made a movie about it. Like that's amazing. Like I think about Satchel Paige asking his outfielders to sit down. Everything about Satchel Paige is some story that you're trying to like wrap your arms around, but you can never quite grasp, right? So like as a painter, like what are you doing but just like trying to find your hooks to dig into this story that nobody knows, right? Like there's no record of some of that, and so like to be that record or to like try to find what that atmosphere is, that yeah, how can you not get stoked about that as an artist?
Yeah,
Right on.
absolutely. Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So Michael Gino says he sees Mike Norris here, and he says, "I love that he brings other stuff into baseball card world." What do you guys, Michael and Eric, think about the melding cards with other worlds? What
You
do
mean
you
like
think?
the different characters and whatnot, like
I
the
think so. Let's
or
see.
like
What do Michael
musicians and
and Eric
whatnot?
think about melding baseball cards with other worlds? Oh, so you know, if you see in Gummy Arts, you know, Mike does a really good job at bringing pop art into that baseball card perspective, that format.
I
If you've
think my
seen his
favorite
stuff.
Gummy Arts one was of Janis Joplin, actually.
Mhm.
It was
Sweet.
phenomenal. So yeah, I love it. I love using uh baseball cards are just a design, man. They're just like a little painting or a little like they could just as easily be a magazine that's being produced. Like it's all like using the same elements of art, right? Like you like it's like a little frame, and that's how I always think about it. Is like I'm using this as like a frame to like when I first started doing the baseball cards, I'm like I really want to do figure drawings every day. Like when I did started doing the dailies, and I'm like, well, I can do a different figure drawing every day if I do a baseball card because that's all they are. So I mean, like it's just a means to get to whatever thing you want to express. So yeah, I love like, I think Sergio Santos does some awesome ones. He did like Black Flag and like the four up was it 78 tops that had the yellow background with the four rookies.
Oh, right.
78 and 79 actually.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So, Jay Hurd says, he's co-editor with Joanne Hubbard, excuse me, on the SABR Turnstile Journal. Each issue, we're working on issue 5 here, has included baseball card art. Due to publication restraints, all of the illustrations in the hard copy are black and white. Do the cards then become artistically different or interpreted differently? We love including the card art. Thank you. So this is a perspective question.
Um, I I love black and white photography more than color photography. Now, um, it's just more impactful for me, but that's photography. Sometimes when you turn um, the black and white or the color card designs into black and white, you lose some impact because some of the colors, when turned into grayscale, will kind of look like each other,
Yeah, they have
and
the
so
same value.
they'll flatten out, and you'll just lose the impact of the art. Now, if you do the card black, if the artist does it in black and white, then you're going to get those contrasts and those little things. Whereas if you take the color and turn it to grayscale, unless you're really, do some things in Photoshop to get some darker areas or whatever, you just lose the impact for me.
Right, right.
I, th- I think I think if I approach something with a monochrome, it doesn't really matter what color I'm using. If I do different browns, if I do different blues, whatever, and you're really thinking about your piece just in terms of value versus in terms of chroma, the color, then yeah, I mean, you can make something that definitely works black and white, no problem. I know that when actually I think it was Tad Richardson that reached out about the Shoeless Joe project. I know it was, and I did a piece that was color, but I basically treated it like a black and white image because all of the reference photos were super black and white images. There wasn't any color photography to choose from for Shoeless Joe. So I think you can certainly lose a lot going from color to black and white, but I think that if an artist knows ahead of time that it's going to be black and white, you can certainly plan for it.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, let's see. So here is our page as we wind down our session. Where to find these guys? So you see Tim's all his platforms as well as Eric's platforms and Michael Lewis's platforms. So I'd invite our audience members to take a little picture of it. This recording will be sent out through the various channels as well. So and I'll give it another second in case you want to get your phones out and take pictures. And all right, so moving on. So I'd like to thank you guys. Tim, thank you. Hope you're feeling better. Eric, thank you. Michael, thank you. Mike Noren
Thank
from
you.
Gummy Arts. Just loved this piece. That was really neat just to see that on the screen as well as the little card itself. I appreciate that. Thank you to Jason and Nick from the SABR Baseball Card Committee, as well as Jay and Joanne from the SABR Baseball Arts Committee as well, and Mark Armour for a lot of his support, Scott Bush for his support and encouragement, and to viewers like you. So thank you very much. Really appreciated the time to have to spend with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm Anthony Salazar, 8017 @yahoo.com. So thanks again, everybody. And you are free to get on with the rest of your day. Here in Seattle, it'll be, just time to just savor a Mariner victory. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right. Take care, everybody. Be
Yep.
safe.
Have a good day.
You too. Okay.